Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm working on a pancake flipping in a pan. I wanted to do something a little more minimal. It's been a while since I've stretched those muscles. So this is what I came up with. It was kind of the first idea that popped into my head. I guess I was a little hungry and I decided to roll with it. So as you saw there, I started with a couple of different sketches. The idea was pretty vague when I first came up with it, and I wanted to make sure I could actually translate it into something that was, interesting to look at. So, yeah, after a couple of sketches, I ended up with this guy, and I was pretty happy with it. My main goal was to make it really dynamic and action-y, even though, a pan and a pancake are both very static and otherwise boring objects. I guess. I mean, I like pancakes. They're delicious, but, I wouldn't just, stare at one for a while without trying to eat it. So, yeah, I think that this composition kind of was successful in being interesting in that kind of way. So once I was happy with the idea, sorry, I'm coughing a little bit today. I'll try to keep that to a minimum. Maybe edit out any major mishaps. But yeah, once I was happy with my initial sketch, I moved into Illustrator and I put my stylus away. Actually, because I switched over to the pen tool, and that's just much easier, for me at least, to use with my mouse. I find that doing more geometric shapes, like a pan, it's just way easier to deal with a mouse, and I just like being really methodical and know exactly where all of my anchor points are going to be and be able to set things up as efficiently as possible. So yeah, you saw there that I roughed out the pan pretty quickly, and now I'm moving on to a couple of different iterations. In that second one, I was kind of playing with the idea of putting a rim on it, and I was happy with that idea, but once I zoomed out a bit, I noticed that the details of it were getting kind of lost. So in this third iteration, I made that lip of the pan a lot more wide and kind of easier to see from a distance. That's one kind of trap that I always find myself falling into with these pieces, is I'll get in really close, and since it's a vector image especially, it's easy to just kind of get lost in the details, but I make sure that I zoom out every once in a while and make sure the image works at 100%, even down to 50% of the original size, just to make sure that I'm coming up with something that's actually readable and something that I would be happy to call a minimal piece of artwork. So yeah. By this point, I'm just finishing up with the pan, adding a couple of last details to it, but I'm pretty happy with it. And I decided that just a regular old pancake might be a little bit too boring, even though I came up with that, interesting flappy shape or whatever. So I thought that adding a little face to my pancake would make it more interesting, so I moved back into Photoshop and sketched out a couple of ideas, and here I am at my final pancake buddy. I was pretty happy with this, so I took it back into Illustrator and kept working away with the pen tool. This was actually an interesting challenge for me. I don't know why or how, but for some reason, being able to bring this 3D shape across was really difficult. I wanted to make it, like a really thick, fluffy pancake, and also get the depth in, and, working with the pen tool in this context, I guess, is a lot more difficult. I was able to sketch it out really quickly in Photoshop and be pretty happy with it, but, coming in with the precise vector lines proved to be a bit of a challenge. And even though I was kind of getting a little frustrated with it, I decided to keep going, which was a big mistake on my part. But I, started adding color and messing around with texture. You'll see in a minute here. Even though I wasn't too happy with the shape that I had. And what I should have done really is taken a break and come back to it. But I guess hindsight is 2020. Yeah, so you can see here I dived into some colors and was really trying to figure out how I would texture this pancake. I didn't want it to just be kind of flat, even though I was happy with the color choices I had and the strokes around them. I thought it looked really cool on its own, but, just wasn't as interesting as it could be. This sort of rough edge that I put in with the darker brown was really successful. I was very happy with that. But these spots that I added, I don't know what I was thinking. Tried them out a couple of times, but really it just wasn't working, and I still wasn't very happy with the shape, so, you can't really polish a turd as it is. So I moved back into figuring out what was wrong with my shape, and this was actually after a little bit of a break so that I could look at it and really see that I wasn't looking at a circle. And I stopped recording, but I came up with this cool guy actually after a while. And this shape just works so much better. It actually reads as a circle and has that depth I was looking for. It's just awesome. So I moved back into my detail work and added that kind of rough brown edge around it and some of those strokes along the side. And yeah, I just kept moving in with the texture work. It's actually really funny. While I was working on this, my wife started really craving pancakes, and she made some on this day. So I had actual pancakes to look at as references, and they really helped me to figure out these bigger spots and really helped to kind of bring this pancake to life actually. So thank you, Aaron, for making me pancakes. That was awesome. And yeah, now I've got a really sweet looking pancake, and I've just got to add my face back onto it. And yeah, I don't know. I tried out a couple of different faces. But I really don't know too much about this cutesy style. And if you follow me on Instagram, you saw a couple of days ago I was studying kawaii kind of faces, and that was this day. Trying to really figure out what kind of face would look cool on this guy. So, I went through the process of iteration, just tried out a couple of different faces, and there they are lined up along the top. And this last one actually ended up being really cool. I don't know why. I guess I just had more practice with it, so I was very happy with it. So I took that last idea and did a couple more iterations, more narrowly focused on that face. And yeah, you'll see here in a second I come up with something I'm pretty happy with. After this, I just kind of wrapped up the project and put everything together. I spent some time adding some shadows to the piece, which of course I forgot to record, and then I added a background as well. And here's the final piece. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my process. If you like this video, consider subscribing for more art adventures in the future, and otherwise, have a lovely day.